Hey guys, welcome to Scott Cook Music. In the previous video we spoke about the idea of how a referential set can provide us with specific points of reference across our fretboard while playing. In that video we randomly assigned the D major scale as our referential set, and in order to increase our knowledge of the guitar's upper registers we restricted ourselves to the D, G, and B strings. What we did is we basically learned the D major scale up the length of those strings individually, and then we combined them or layered them in order to essentially build chords. Now those chords that we built were E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, and D major. So in this video I'd like to talk about the idea of combining chords in order to, develop some new interesting sounding chord shapes. Now by combining chords I basically just mean playing some of the notes in one chord with some of the notes in another chord. So as an example, let's start with the D major chord. Now when working within our referential set, the D major scale, the chord that is immediately below the D major chord, or meaning the one that comes just before it, is C sharp diminished. Now in order to combine these chords I simply move one of the notes in the D major chord, in my starting chord, to one of the notes in the adjacent chord, like so. So basically what I did is I kept the lower two notes of the D major chord, those notes that are on the D and the G strings, and I moved the note that is on the B string down to the B string note of the C sharp diminished chord. Now when initially working on this, what I often ask my students to do is place their fingers on the chord that they're starting with, and then without moving their fingers to look at the target chord or look at the chord that they're going to be combining with the starting chord. So by placing my fingers on the D major chord, I can then look at my fretboard and I can see those frets that contain the notes of C sharp diminished. And this basically makes the transition or the combination of those chords a lot smoother, and it also continues to encourage our building our familiarity with the frets that contain the referential set along our fretboard. So on the handout that's included with this video, I've given a few sort of exercises that you can use to work on combining these chords. One of them involves moving down through all the chords of the referential set, but doing so one note at a time. So for instance, if we were to move down through the chords starting with the lower notes in the chord, so starting with the D string, then we would get something that sounds like this. So I essentially moved from D major down to E minor, but moving one note at a time. Now similarly, if we wanted to start with the notes that are on the B string, so the higher notes in the chords, we get some different variations of chords. We get something like this. Again, starting on D major and ending on E minor. So you can use the handout as well as your own imagination and start playing around with combining some of these chords. The idea is that you know, you'll develop some new voicing, some new chord positions that you'll like the sound of, and that you'll start pulling into or incorporating into your own playing more regularly, and as a result increasing your harmonic or your chord vocabulary. You know, using combined chords can really sort of spice up some basic chord progressions. You can get some things that sound a little bit like this.